Hi there, thank you for joining me today as I fill up my planner page. I am using my Day Designer. This is one of my favorite planners by far, and what I especially like to use it for is for decorative planning. The reason for that is because the planner I'm using currently is a 7x9 day on one page. So this size allows for all the stickers, all the washi, and any drawing that you can think of. But today, I want to share with you what I tend to write on these pages in order to fill them up and make it look more like a journal. If you know me, you know I'm not a fan of white space. I like things to look very full, very chunky, very paragraph-like. That is my personal taste. I love going back to pages and seeing them filled up. So let me go ahead and guide you through how I do that. To prepare my dailies, I actually like to reference my weekly planner. In there, I have the highlights and reminders that I need to remember for every day. So I go ahead and transfer things from my weekly onto my daily in chronological order. So depending on what time I woke up and how my energy is, how my baby's doing, I start writing in the tasks for my weekly on my daily in the way that I think I'm going to get them done. So on this day, I started off writing my virtual assistant tasks because that's the first thing I was going to do in the day, get to my computer work. And then afterwards, since I wasn't too sure about what else was going to be next, what I did is that I focused on writing in my AM routine, a PM routine, and then my classic home blessing things that I had to get done for the day, which are house chores. Another great detail about the Day Designer is that all of the pages have this section for you to write in your top 3. Here, I like to focus, obviously, on the main 3 things that I want to make sure I get done throughout the day or that I don't want to forget. Typically, I like to write kind of like a highlight of it in all caps, and then I'll add in a little more detail on the side of it. As an example, you can see that one of the items I put was post-production. Obviously, this can encompass so many things, and that's why I like to write in right next to it like a little detail as to what specifically from post-production I want to focus on. And that really does help me once I'm writing in the rest of my tasks throughout the day to break up those additional details into more achievable tasks. On the top right-hand corner, you have these 4 boxes with the option of dinner, do, dollars, and don't forget. Do not feel binded to those categories and make it as flexible as you need. That's how I've found it best for myself. The dinner is something that I find useful to write down, so as you can see here, I'm gonna briefly get it from my weekly planning and write it down on my daily. Like that, when it comes to writing down my subtasks, I know, okay, this is the dinner I'm gonna make, so I need to chop these veggies, prep, let's say in this case it was the rice, things like that. So it helps me to have that already on my daily planner. In the dollar section, to give you an example, I sometimes like to put bills that are due, any deposits that I need to make, or money that I need to take out. On some occasions before, when I used to have 2 jobs running at the same time, I like to keep track of the different work hours I had for one and the work hours I had for another one, because that for me is still related to money. So I thought it was a good section to put it in. So be flexible. Everything in here is meant for you to, make the best out of it to help you out. So don't feel intimidated or feel locked into the titles that those boxes have. Now for the fun part, I feel like this really does make my spreads, which is to journal, to actually journal. So I typically have around 3 prompts that I tend to stick to every day. And these really help me to get my thinking going, not only about where I stand, but what I want to do. So I specifically like to write down these journal prompts in sections where the stickers are kind of making a weird silhouette. So where they're not exactly straight, that's where I like to write in this text. I think it makes the biggest impact when text is curved or just following the odd silhouette of a sticker. And the sections where they fairly go straight, just up and down vertically, I like to leave those sections for checkboxes. So that's a little tip for you guys. At the end of the day, this is typically what my planner looks like. As you can see, there are still a couple of white spaces here and there. And if I really want this to be even more, filled up, what I tend to do is that I have pre-selected quotes to write in. And these quotes are either gathered through things that I bump into while I'm online, or what I have highlighted in the current book that I'm reading. As a last resort, if I really don't have anything on my mind, then what I always like to do is quickly search up a Bible verse and I'll write that in. But I feel like those last 3 elements really just finish it off. Any blank spaces, look up a quote that you think more or less fits in there and just write it in. I tend to prefer things that are more present, either things that I'm currently thinking about. So if I choose a quote or a verse, it's something that is going on in my current life. That's why I definitely love writing book verses, because it reminds me of what I was reading at that time when I wrote it down. And here is the end result. What I love most about this is that while I'm going through my day looking at this planner, it just looks so beautiful to check things off. And as days pass and I ever go back through the spreads, the design itself is what reminds me most of the day. The stickers that I put down and writing through those stickers, it really helps me in my mind have that day stand out. So I hope you guys enjoyed these quick little tips about what I do to fill up my planner pages, and hopefully you get some ideas to better inspire you on your own spreads.